So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to do multi-million dollar deals starting with little or no money. Okay. So my name is Prithvi and I'm the founder of a healthcare investment company. And in the last 3 years, I have managed to bring some of the most high-profile executives in the whole country of UAE, including a CEO of a $3.5 billion company. And in addition to him, I have got several other business partners who have done $13 billion deals, seasoned healthcare professionals with 30 years of experience each, and top accounting firm partners and top law firm retired partners are my business partners. And over the last 3 years, I have negotiated a $3.5 million acquisition. I have negotiated $10 million acquisition, $25 million, $120 million, $140 million deal. And I did this starting with very little money of my own. And I did not invest a lot of money into the project. I was paying for my expenses. I had to pay for the license of the company and some legal documents, but that's it. Apart from that, I did not have to spend a lot of my money on the project. I was paying for my expenses, and that was one thing. So how did I get into this position? And by the way, I have also negotiated with, decision makers within public companies. I've also negotiated with bankers that have financed $350 million transactions, senior bankers, head of investment banking, corporate banking, the big guys. And I'm just 29 years old. I don't have a finance degree. In fact, I did not finish college. And I grew up in a very humble neighborhood in India. And I moved to a new location, completely new location in UAE, where I had little or no contacts. Especially, I didn't have any contacts in what I'm doing right now. And I used my phone and my laptop sitting from my bedroom and getting these partners involved, creating company vision, going to meetings and negotiating with all of these bankers, top law firms, top accounting firms, and finally managing to negotiate several multi-million dollar transactions. And I've also managed to secure 2 term sheets to finance 50 to 70% of a $10 million deal. So I managed to secure that term sheet. So I've been through the whole process of how all of this works, and I'm going to break it down for you so that you might be able to do the same. Okay. So let's take step number 1. Most people think step number 1 is finding the business model. Step number 1 would be the industry. Okay. In fact, even before in the industry, there will be a preliminary step which we call building your solid personal foundation. So before everything, you want to write down all your goals, all your wishes, all your dreams, and you want to translate that into numbers, because you can make those dreams happen using finance. So that's why everything needs to be converted into numbers, specific numbers. And then you got to remove people out of your life who are not related to that goal, so that you have space, you have time, and you can act. Then you need a source of income that can pay your bills so that you are not worried about paying bills while you're building this company. So this is personal foundation. You got to set expectation with your families and friends that you want to be doing this, and you create this space. Second step is picking an industry. So how you pick an industry is not based on passion, but based on financial factors. And number 1 factor is your industry has to have at least 20% profit margins. and it has to have a high volume of businesses. So you have to have at least, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 businesses in your region. Okay, so industry and region you got to pick, and this industry has to have 20% margin, and it has to have a large population of owners within this industry, business owners who are old, because people who are old, they need to get out of that business. And this is where you can come in and make an offer and buy their business. By $1 million deal, I mean buying $1 million business, okay? So when I refer to $1 million deal, I'm talking about buying a business that is already running. You don't have to create anything from scratch. Somebody put their effort, time, and energy into building this thing, and they're old, and you go in and you buy their business at a discounted price. And then you can flip it for a higher price. We will talk about that in a second. So you pick an industry where you can do this. And one of the biggest industries in the whole planet is healthcare. So healthcare has high margins. Healthcare has a high volume of businesses in most places. And you can acquire these companies at a small multiple. So it's important what price you enter, and it's important what price you exit. So as you want to buy as low as possible and exit as high as possible. That's the genesis, and that's the fundamental of an investment business. So you want to make sure you identify an industry, and then you identify a niche. For example, within healthcare, you've got healthcare technology, you've got pharmaceuticals, you've got home care, you've got assisted living, you've got dental clinics, you've got cosmetic clinics, you've got hospitals, you've got daycare surgery centers, you've got ambulances, you've got medical billing. So all of these industries, and there are many more. It's an ecosystem. And you got to pick a niche which has older owners and which has big margins. For example, pharma doesn't actually have a lot of margins. Because it comes under retail, it doesn't have a lot of margin. But home care, the service-oriented businesses, dental, home care, assisted living, tend to have very big margins. Why do you need big margins? Because you need a bank that can finance these deals, and bank will finance the deals when the margins are big. Okay, so that's how you pick an industry, based on financial metrics. Now, you may not be passionate about healthcare. You may not even have expertise around healthcare, which is fine. You can fulfill those expertise by partnering up with other people who also have that expertise. So picking an industry and then creating a vision within that industry, picking the industry, niche market, and within that, you will have your vision of your company. How many businesses you want to buy. How many companies you want to buy and merge together. Okay, so you got to have that vision. Then once you have the vision ready, then you build your dream team, which will have your financial professionals, legal professionals, and people who understand how to run these companies, and people who have done what you want to do. Because I'm 29 years old, I didn't have the needed expertise. So I partnered up with people who have way more expertise than me to advise me. So then you got to set up the team. Once you set up the team, this includes finance, operations, legal, and mergers and acquisitions experience. Then you're ready. Your company profile is ready. Your people are ready. And now is the time to get your law firms and accounting firms. So why do you get law firms and accounting firms? Well, you need these top firms to validate the information when you buy a business. You want them to investigate these businesses and give you a clear picture of what the business is doing. Because when you go to buy a business, people lie in their financial statements. So you want to make sure you use a top accounting firm who can look deep into these businesses and prepare the report for you about the health of the business. Same thing with law firms. Law firms are, you need them to do paperwork for these transactions, and also you need them to look into these businesses to find if there are any lawsuits or any legal complications within the business. Are the license renewed? Is the business in compliance with the laws, which is obviously very important. So you have your whole team, you have your legal expertise and finance expertise even within the team, but you have these extended arms to your business, your extended partners. So once you have that, then and only then you would start to build contacts with the banks. Why would you want to build contacts with the banks? Why wouldn't you go to an investor? Is because if you raise capital from a bank, the bank is going to loan you the money, kind of like a real estate mortgage, and the bank will give you the money and allow you to have control over the company. And the bank will not take any, shares away in exchange for giving this money. So you have control, you have to pay the principal and interest back, and you get to keep all the control, in the bank, as long as you're making the payments, pretty much leaves you alone. So this is the reason we use banks, because the capital is cheap and you get to keep control. So you're buying profitable businesses, cash flow producing assets using debt. Okay. And you want to pay as little as possible and exit as high as possible. And you're not doing 1 or 2 transactions, you're doing several transactions. You want to do, 10, 15 transactions to accumulate and for your company to become a big enough size so that you can exit at a high price. Because why? Because if you build a big company, you will attract attention from a strategic buyer who is looking for investment opportunities. If it's a small business, $1 million business, those types of deals are not attractive to, a big investment firm. So you want you doing all of this so that your company becomes big enough to be one day acquired by someone else. You're not acquiring these companies to then hoard the cash flow. That's not the play. The play is to buy businesses, combine them together in one group. So you buy individual private family businesses, combine them into one group, medium-sized group, and exit to a larger group. So this is how you would do it. So I'm just giving you a context. Once you have interviewed the banks, okay, we'll get into the interviewing of the banks. When you interview the banks, you want to make sure that you understand what their lending criteria is. So, not all banks wants to finance acquisitions in healthcare. You want to understand what are the parameters on which they will lend. And once you have, and also you want to do a presentation about your venture, about your vision, and you want to sell them on your vision and what you're doing, and you want to build a connection and a relationship with the banks and the bankers. And you want to have hundreds and hundreds of relationships within the banking sector. So now you've got the industry, the niche, the business model, the dream team, you've got accountants and lawyers, and you have a lot of relationships within the banking sector. Now you are ready to actually start calling on multi-million-dollar businesses to structure deals with them, okay, and to propose a buyout. Now you have all the necessary elements to do it. So you want to make sure, again, you will make contact with them, you propose what you have in mind that you want to buy, convey your intention, and then the conversation progresses. Then you get information from them, and then you sit down with your team and you analyze risk, right? What are the risks in the company? You analyze financial information. Is the business legitimate? You perform some due diligence. You structure the deal. You agree on the price and the terms, and then you want to make sure you pay little bit money upfront and the rest is delayed. And then you have the transaction set up, detailed in a form of a MOU, LOI, and then you go to the bank to get this financed. Okay. And then you get it financed, and then you acquire the business, transfer the licenses, and this is how this whole process works. Okay. And if you do several deals like this, you will have a significant amount of equity built up in your company. And equity could also be constituted as net worth. So you'll have a significant net worth. You will cash in that when you sell this whole business sometime in the future. So this is the whole investment business in a nutshell. It's a very general overview for you to understand how this works, how this whole investment business works. There are so many individuals that have gotten super rich doing this. You could do this in real estate, you could do this in healthcare, you could do this in many other sectors. Okay, and you can find businesses to buy. You don't have to create a business from scratch. You don't have to have the money. You can use banks' money. And there are many, many individuals who have built generational wealth and who have done multi-million-dollar deals. For someone like me to be 29, to build this from my bedroom, from my phone and my laptop, okay, it's absolutely phenomenal in a new city. But that's the world that we live in. We have platforms like LinkedIn. We have this technology to connect with people. And this is how you can do it. And it doesn't matter whether you're sitting in an office or you're sitting in your bedroom. Ultimately, you're going to be working on your laptop. So it doesn't matter that you have to go somewhere else and sit down on some other desk other than the one in your house, as long as you get the work done. So it doesn't matter if you don't have an office, if you have a phone, you have some good communication skills, and you have the passion, and you are willing to make the sacrifices. Your personal life will suffer, but you gotta know that that's the sacrifice you would be making for the ultimate success. So that's an overview. And if you're someone who is interested to learn this and execute this, there are obviously many detailed steps within this. You got to make sure that you execute all the steps properly. You get the right people, you protect your position, and you analyze risk. You always want to be guided by experts, right? This video is not intended for you to go out and execute, but this is for your understanding and to provide you with an overview. If you do want to execute, if you're someone who is serious, you're a serious entrepreneur and you want to learn this, I have a one-on-one mentorship program where I guide you step by step throughout the process. And I take you through this whole journey of transformation, of a whole career transformation, and getting you to connect with these high-profile individuals, with high-profile bankers, negotiating multi-million-dollar deals, and finally getting into a position of buying the business, a multi-million-dollar business. If that's you, if you want to learn how to do this, get in touch with me. I'm going to be leaving links to my email, LinkedIn profile, Instagram, Facebook, and reach out to me and we will see what can be worked out. There are limited seats available because I can only work with only a few people because it's a one-on-one mentorship. So make sure you reach out to me when this video is active and I don't have all, everything is not blocked. I've opened a few slots. So if that's you want to learn this, reach out to me and we will see what can be worked out. I'll talk to you soon.